Game of the day coming up right after this, but let's go ahead and jump into draft to see what the picks are going to be across the board.
And it's no surprise, Jin going to be the priority pickup. Constant factor coming in from Team TrueShot, right? This is something that's worked for them, it works well. Their concern might come when there are opponent assassins, which has been a big issue for them going in so far. Ari could be one of those potential threats, but I think Jin generally outranges her enough. So depending on what the rest of the team goes for, they could either get a lot of support to provide some peel for the Jin, or we're going to see the Blitzcrank Jarvan go in their faces, run them down. I'm okay with that too.
Well, we'll have to see here as we take a look across what is coming out here. And we are seeing already that misfortune getting locked in here for Phoenix. And that's also going to be a Jinx as well. So we're going to be seeing likely a solo lane 80 Or are we just seeing like a poke lane down in the bot side? Is that the plan here?
Yeah, we might see Misfortune Jinx, right, as a dual Dragon lane pickup. Could work well here, but they are susceptible to Blitzcrank hooks, so that's something they have to be concerned about. Once you get a hook, they don't really have the mobility spells to try and get away, probably have to expend flash, and they can only use that so many times, right? At some point, they're going to run out, their luck's going to run out, and could see a pickup coming through. Okay.
Well, we'll have to see here. We're just going to go ahead and lock in for the match. Of course, it's going to be TrueShot taking on Phoenix. Philippines taking on Thailand. This one should be an exciting one to finish out the top of our Group A. And we still got more action after this. 3 more games before we wrap up the day of our first day of Pentaboom Showdown.
Exciting set for us to see here. We still have one more game coming through. I think we have, no, okay, so we have one more game from Group A after this one. Right. And that one is just going to further cement exactly who's going to be first seed. I think at this point it's looking to be pretty set in stone. Otherwise, let's take a quick look at the compositions that we've seen so far, right? Because we've also seen the Annie pickup, we've seen the Olaf pickup. Very interesting choices coming in for TrueShot. Annie and Olaf kind of indicate that they're looking to try and fight a little bit more, go for a couple more skirmishes. The fact that they also have a Blitzcrank, they can go for a couple of pickups. The issue with a composition like this is that you can't really go for a split push composition, a split push setup, right? You can't really afford to go 1-3-1 because you don't have the answers to a number of these threats. You have to be careful to protect your Jin. You have to also watch out for the Annie, who's susceptible to a lot of ganks coming through. Whereas on the side of Phoenix, I don't want to say that they have a better composition outright, but they do seem to have a composition that's more in line with what they can do with it. Oh my goodness,
there you go.
Coming through.
It's the first one, and that final shot from Frozen Kiss gonna land on target. That's first blood, and that is the danger you will face anytime you go up against a Blitzcrank. It's the death brush from mid lane. That's not the start Phoenix was looking for.
That was a bit of a surprise. I'm pretty sure you don't see that coming. Either way, a good pickup coming in for the Blitzcrank. I believe that was Frozen Kiss that managed to pick up the kill there. So definitely gonna help a bit. But I'm quite curious as to what the lane allocation is right now. I think they're confused too.
Hey, if it works, it works, all right? That's all it takes at the very end. And the other thing, too, that if you are a Blitzcrank player and you see 2 marksmen on the other team in this lane and there's no minions, again, they have to step so far back just because of the pressure that this Blitzcrank is going to continually put out in lane just by the threat of having that rocket grab.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the side of Phoenix. Just on virtue of the nature of Blitzcrank pickups. That being said, they do have quite a means to clear the waves quickly. If they focus their spells to clear waves, I don't think there's much that TrueShot are going to be able to do, but then they have to be concerned about ganks. Jarvan is a champion that can deal very well moving forward with these ganks. Next hook coming through again.
Well, lands a hook. Is it going to be enough, though? Ashley forced the flash away there. Maybe a turn, but guess what? DX is right around the corner. Using that flag drag. It's a little bit too close underneath tower. That is just going to be them backing off here, but still not able to find that next kill. But maybe a re-engage flash comes out. Not going to pull the trigger, though, on that rocket grab.
Difficult to look for more here. They're just going to have to try and play things slowly. Up at the top side, We still have this Olaf versus Garen matchup. Olaf versus Garen here. Oh wow, a little bit of a game coming through from Sinjao as well.
Looking for a possible play here. We'll see, though, if they're able to get much. That's still Boss going very low, is able to get themselves back to safety underneath the tower. Not the prettiest play, but still, nonetheless, going to be flashless still for the next 70 seconds, so has to be a little bit careful.
Not sure whether Sinjao had flash or not. If he did, that could have been a free kill, but these are the kind of things that might be missed out in translation. It's oftentimes very difficult to focus on these kind of minor things such as timing. But level 5 now onto this Olaf. If I'm not mistaken, Olaf should be able to handle this Garen in lane, provided they start with the same amount of HP, but wow, going aggressive here.
That's aggressive. Meanwhile, bot lane, Curtain Call comes out. Frozen Kiss not able to find the kill. And topside, oh! It's a trade 1-for-1 as that last minion auto attack fell through, but now you start to see a bit of pressure coming out from TrueShot as they are able to start whacking away at this tower. Not able to get a plate just yet, but still, that pressure starting to seep through, and this is kind of what we expected. You know, TrueShot, they have looked like the better team overall, and it looks like they are the ones being aggressive, especially in this bot lane matchup.
Yeah, the bot lane matchup is definitely the strong suit. TrueShot oftentimes play to get Frozen Kiss ahead, so not so much of a surprise there, right? The interesting thing is up in the top side, the fact that Best Gamer was able to get the solo kill, and I mentioned that the Olaf beats out the Garen, provided that the Olaf is at least equal in HP. Going up against that, we saw how close it got, and this was after a health deficit. So might become a bit of a snowballing lane up in the top side, provided the Garen keeps shoving into the lane. You oftentimes see the wave state very close towards Team Phoenix's, very close towards the Olaf's turret. And this means a very long distance that the Garen has to try and move past in order to get back to the safety of his own turret. Bit of a cash over to the mid lane, looking like an engage coming in. The Jarvan drops the Cataclysm, looking for good damage. Flash away, plus the dash from Pixie gets into safety, but leaving the Xin Zhao defend for himself. And joining in, Blitzcrank gonna pick this one up. Nice charm comes through. And the flash from Jarvan to save his life. We're gonna take looking pretty decent right now. Thailand, Team TrueShot have managed to keep things going in their favor. Now going to look to try and translate that over into a dragon. Nice catch onto the misfortune. Bullet time not going to be enough to flash away. A little bit too little. Still going to get hit up by the Blitzcrank. Damage comes through. They pick up that kill there. And Jinx running for dear life. Meanwhile, Ocean Drake going to be handed over to TrueShot.
And there you go. Another quick pick, and that translates, like we've mentioned before, the objective's key here for teams that want to close out games pretty effectively. And there you go, first dragon on the board here for TrueShot, and it's looking pretty good, especially via this bot side. And heck, top lane is not all that bad either. Boss, though, Boss may have to back off here. Doesn't pop the ultimate, did have it available, but decided didn't need to use it. Was happy soaking up some damage as they're just going to be able to stay safe underneath that tower.
Right, and things aren't going too great for the Garen here. You have to be very careful and very aware of when the Olaf will potentially try and run you down. The fact that you don't have Rift Herald means they're just probably going to get a little bit of damage onto this turret, maybe get a plate, but they still have to be careful moving into this, that they don't end up overextending and overstaying up in the top side, because this gives Annie free time to farm. Annie might not have the best wave clear, but you give her enough time, she will be able to clear out the waves and get to your turret. And with the Tibbers especially, very effective at clearing out and taking down turrets.
Oh, look at that, though. Almost a full combo coming out here from Diaz in the mid lane. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will. As there you go. It's going to be that solo kill. Meanwhile, bot lane, though, Frozen Kiss starting to get really big here on the Jhin. Curtain Call once again going to be popped. Only one may survive here. There's your final hit. Does the first one connect? You damn right it does, as that's a killing spree for the Jhin.
Great plays coming through overall, and just being able to constantly apply pressure in the lane where they have to.
Woo.
Flashing in, going in for the kills, knowing when they have the windows to do so. They sack the top lane, they leave Olaf to his own devices. Meanwhile, they focus down to the bottom side. Dixie doing well in her lane individually, but if she can't translate the pressure to the other sides of the map, then she isn't going to be able to provide relief for her team.
So now here we go for TrueShot. A lot of hopes for this first win of the day going to be put here onto this Jhin. We'll see if Frozen Kiss is going to be able to perform when they need to. And so far, so good. 9-4 your kill count. Rift Herald is up on the map, so I'm interested to see now that that bot lane has been taken already, if they start rotating this bot side and start trying to take more objectives off the map before Phoenix can really scale up.
I don't even think Phoenix really scales up against them. I think they just have a better composition in this case, right? Once we start seeing TrueShot scale up in this regard, I feel like Phoenix are just going to be playing for the miracle catch, for the one-off instance where the team fight just happens to be better. Maybe if they manage to distract some of the members of TrueShot to the other side of the map, they could potentially find that. Otherwise, it's a very difficult position, and especially giving away the Rift Herald, which is one of the largest playmaking pools.
Well, speaking of playmaking, that's going to be Cataclysm and the Bear being dropped here by the side of TrueShot. Really looking for a play. I don't blame him. If you're able to find one here, you can easily translate that into another tower with this Shelly in hand. It looks like Team Phoenix are going to be able to back off. Other quick note too, Frozen Kiss already picked up that GA, and you start to see this damage that comes out and just walks forward. It's a rampage for this bot lane. And right now, Curtain Call could be drawn if they want to go for it here once more. There you go, lines up, finds another, and these shots are continually on target. All four find their mark, and with that, the dive comes on through. Deadly Flourish into one final shot, and it's a double kill for Frozen Kiss.
What an amazing play coming through. Frozen Kiss finally finding her time to shine. She's had such a tough time in a number of these matches where she's lost the game before she could even do anything. The fact that she's now been able to get to the point that she wants to. She has the items she needs, she has the damage, she can output them, and she doesn't have to worry about a significant threat that can potentially one-shot her or kill her off before the team can get to her. Perfect situation.
And there we are, 12-4. Rift Herald still in hand as well. They didn't even have to use it for that top-tier tower. So if they really wanted to, could throw that down in mid lane, and there you go. Back to the objectives, it seems, here for Team TrueShot, because that is now going to be their second dragon secured of the game.
Still going on the aggressive. They managed to pick up a couple of objectives, but you can tell the objectives are kind of like in between things for them, right? They go for a play, they go for some other thing. They go for some other thing first. The dragons and the Rift Heralds are really kind of in between things. When you don't have much else you want to try and go for, you go for these objectives, these neutral objectives. They don't hurt. They help you out a little bit. So it's really just down to the side of TrueShot at this point to get Frozen Kiss up to a point of power, to get further ahead than she already is, which is quite hard to imagine, right? Considering how much impact she already has, but imagine she gets to be stronger, huh?
Yeah. As time stands still for me, Grandin, so go ahead, it seems. There we go. We get themselves another one out of that one. Rift Herald was popped down, actually, it seems, as that is going to be another kill coming through, and Phoenix needs to start running. This tower's gone. It's not looking pretty, as unfortunately for them, TrueShot just barreling through the mid lane.
It's too difficult to defend against this. At least they managed to take down the Rift Herald, so they don't have to deal with that ramming down the mid lane. But they're still not in a position they're comfortable with. You know, they have a composition that does well when they find picks, when they have a couple of good team fights, when they can split push a little bit. You know, that's the weakness that they've been facing. But otherwise, they haven't been able to work with that at all. The Olaf just diving into the back lines, Ignite taking down. They should be able to at least find one as he goes over aggressive. But honestly, to ask for that play to keep happening is really optimistic.
So a bit rough overall there, unfortunately, and that's going to be it seems, as Phoenix have to back off. And this allows TrueShot to just go into the jungle, start siphoning that gold, and you can see that top side of the map looking pretty barren at this point. Maybe they get this one back, maybe they see this getting taken. Not the case, but with as much control and as much as a gold lead that they have, they can easily threaten for this neutral objective if they want to start kind of teasing a Baron.
I'm still curious about this Annie pickup, because Annie hasn't had that much impact in the game, I feel like. Yeah, it has been able to deal decently well in the mid lane, but of course Ahri, if I recall, has managed to find a couple of solo kills onto the Annie. So it's kind of an open question for me. Why exactly have they decided to go for this Annie? The Annie hasn't really impacted the game very much for the side of Team TrueShot. Frozen Kiss has been able to do plenty without having to rely on the timbers, without having to rely on the engage or the stun from this champion here.
We'll see here. Can they turn this around? Yes, they can. The dive onto that Annie doesn't pay off. That's going to be now this Jhin pretty much going unstoppable, untouchable, it seems here. And looking very good here for the Thailand-based squad. Is now a quick rotation to the top side of the map if they wish to go ahead and threaten and get themselves another pick. And it's just rotations after rotations and just a building of this gold lead as Hook only finds themselves some crux.
But playing around the Baron right now, and it's a very real threat that Team Phoenix have to be aware of. Look at the damage onto the Garen. Oh my goodness.
The crits! That's insane. Ragnarok is going to be popped here, but the Olaf just a little bit too far away. Curtain Call is available, instead opting just not to use it, it seems here. But again, 15 seconds onto the third Dragon. Deadly Flourish not going to connect over there, as that's actually going to be the kill as they do take out this Annie. But you gotta be careful how far they chase, as Frozen Kiss, again, thinking about the ultimate, is going to lay it on down. Can they connect? Not going to be the case, but you see just how much damage those bloody traps are doing. And it's enough to put the Xin Zhao low enough to be finished off by the Cataclysm. In they go for the third Drake.
You know what? When the traps are enough to start killing people, you have an issue, right? You have a really real issue. The fact that the Jhin has managed to reach this point of power without dying, without even being in threat to lose the Guardian Angel, is a really bad message for Phoenix, right? Because the rest of the team, they can't really do much. When you're running a Jinx, when you're running a Misfortune, you have damage, but it's kind of damage over time. You don't have means to really kind of burst out the Jhin. And the only person that can do that right now is DS. But DS's issue is she has to get rid of the Guardian Angel first, but who can get rid of the Guardian Angel? She's the only one that can do that. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg issue. You know, she has to be the one to get rid of the Guardian Angel and get the kill, but she can't do both. She has to do either one. So they don't have enough of a secondary threat to really be meaningful enough to take down the Jhin in this case.
Like, unless the Misfortune is able to get a full bullet time off and not get interrupted, which in itself has looked pretty risky for the amount of dives and just the... You mentioned, like, you know, maybe this Annie hasn't been doing a whole lot, but that's always the threat, is that you can just lay down a Tibbers onto the back line if they feel too comfortable, and it completely disrupts Phoenix's game. And now you see, oh, unfortunately here, up and toward the top side, it's just not looking that pretty. They are going to try and fight it back. We'll see. Cataclysm, though, brings the health bars down. And again, it's a legendary Jhin at this point. A flash on forward, trying to finish it off. In comes that current call once more. It's a triple kill in the end, and oh boy, it is a slaughter. 21-6, and Baron now on the table for TrueShot.
I mean, that's terrifying. When you walk in, get in a fight like that, and you lose so handedly, I think it's pretty indicative that the damage and the scaling on the side of Team TrueShot is too large to ignore at this point. Garen also went for an aggressive build, opting to go for more damage items, so not being too tanky means that he's not going to be able to really fight well against a lot of the members on the side of TrueShot. Sure, you're going to be able to maybe burst out the Jhin, maybe kill off the Annie if you get close enough to them for, what, 4, 5, 6 seconds maybe? But honestly, are you going to get that time alone with them? I don't think so. The Blitzcrank is always with Frozen Kiss, right? You're likely going to see the Javelin with her as well. It's difficult to find those windows of opportunity on the side of this Garen here. I would have much rather seen a more defensive build path, going for items like the Bombing Cinder, items like a Deadman's Plate. I feel like would have had a much bigger impact on this game than what we're currently seeing. So that's kind of my big consideration. So moving into the future games or into the next set, might want to consider having a more maybe reasonable isn't the right word, but a front line that's able to have a little bit more impact.
There we are, that siege on to the mid lane inhibitor tower. You also have that Olaf in the side lane just applying split pressure, and well, this game has been pretty much just the Jhin cam at this point. It's a beautiful hook into the curtain call once more. That's another easy pick, and that's just the danger you face when you're using two of these marksmen up against a Blitzcrank. No one can really tank anything. It's poor Ari is having to act as a front line, and that's the first tower going down. The second one in their sights as they are just taking apart each individual member, and it's an absolute carry performance coming out here on this Jin, as that should be the base now being taken here by TrueShot.
She finally gets her time to shine. She's been persistent, constantly going for this play, and she finally gets the game that she's been looking for, the game that TrueShot have been looking for.
And there you go, first win of the day in the hands of Team TrueShot, as they'll be able to finally break that loss streak. Unfortunately for Team Phoenix, the day ends with no wins, but still a hope that maybe things can improve tomorrow. But they will be going up against one of the top teams coming out of the other group.
I think that, well, they don't have any more games today, right? So that means they are playing the top team of the group tomorrow.
True. It's not a maybe, it's a for sure. It's now a question of which of those teams over on Group B are going to be the top group they have to go up against.
Well, that being said, I think it's likely going to be Indonesia, considering what we've seen so far, right? With the standings, I think there's a good chance that we're going to see a three-way tiebreaker for the rest of the teams in Group B, and I think that Inspire just have so much in store for us.
We'll have to see. Of course, if you guys want to let us know what your thoughts are going to be sure to use that QR code down below. And you guys can go ahead and vote who you think is going to be taking the next match between Team Star Call and Inspire, as we look forward to that Group B matchup. But coming back here, I think we've kind of mentioned, when it comes to TrueShot, it was the Jin cam, it was, the Frozen Kiss cam, you could say, this entire game, but I think it's fair to say that was the main carry point, was this bot lane. I think it's a nice reward considering how consistent they've been able to play, at least throughout the course of today's games.
And that begs the question, at this point, do you just pick Jin against TrueShot, even if you don't play it, right? If you're going up against TrueShot, you might as well just play the Jin.
Possibly, if you want to risk using a first pick, I guess, for that, but you got to have a confident enough player that's what you kind of want to run here, of course. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case, especially in the matches tomorrow, because that's the big thing here. Your first match, you're not going to go against any of the teams that you played today. You can only face the teams over on the other side of the bracket until you match up in the next round.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of variance and a lot of difference in terms of what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be checking out a couple of the highlights from the past game, but like you mentioned, it's basically just Frozen Kiss killing a bunch of people, right? It's like a kill montage for the Jin.
And it all starts from here too, which is a little unfortunate in the end, because you give over first blood onto the enemy ADC, and then things just kind of spiral out of control, especially too, we didn't get to talk about it, but this Jarvan was all over the map alongside this Blitzcrank as well.
Yeah, had a lot of impact. I understand the purpose of picking up the Xin Zhao going into this game, but honestly, Xin Zhao just doesn't have the kind of means to really deal with a lot of these fights. Xin Zhao has his power when it's a duelist, when it's able to jump onto the AD carry. That's kind of that secondary threat idea that we mentioned, but that's sort of the risk that you take. When you're running junglers like these, they have to take their time to go and farm up. So this means that the enemy jungler has a lot more agency, should be able, in theory at least, to go into other lanes and start looking to snowball them up, get them that little bit of extra gold that's going to make a difference, because once the stalemate is broken, the items come through, you start seeing 1v1s, one with the slightest lead, right? That's the biggest concern I think a lot of these guys have right now, and the things that they have to watch out for. If you're going to go for a jungler that's basically independent from the rest of the team, you have to be prepared to see the enemy jungler really show up in your face, and what kind of strategies do you have in store for that?
Yeah, in the end too, once you get this far behind, there's not a whole lot you can do on the side of Team Phoenix outside of maybe a miracle Baron steal. But for TrueShot, they were very patient on when they just wanted to take out objectives. So I think overall it was pretty a tall mountain to climb. Let's take a look at the post-game stats, and in-game MVP, when you have an 18,000, nice bank deposit right there, 5,000 over the closest member over on the side of Team Phoenix, it's pretty hard to deal with this Jin.
Yeah, pretty hard is a huge understatement, right? This is a Jin. Look at the medals that Frozen Kiss has, right?
I didn't know there were that many medals.
Just monopolizing every one of them where she can. And this is going to be indicative of the playstyle that TrueShot has for us. It's very much a sack the top lane, sack the mid lane, get the bot lane fed strategy. We've seen the best moments against TrueShot come from when they cap the bot lane, when they start to bring people down bot side. We've also seen some varying levels of success by abusing their top lane, they're abusing their Baron lane side rather. Once they were able to do so, the carries on the enemy team start scaling up, they buy items, Frozen Kiss. You know, while she is able to win lane and get a lead, it's nowhere near the kind of difference that you might see from if you were to just pick up kill after kill, right? So you might want to start considering how can you best use these kind of habits and tendencies from the side of TrueShot.
Yeah, and as you guys can see, 33,000 damage across the board. So that was a bit ridiculous, a bit too much damage coming out from that Jhin. And we got to see, again, if you can build a composition that allows this Jhin to accelerate and to prosper when you have something like a Blitzcrank, that if you're able to, again, get some of these squishy targets, because that's kind of the big thing here is who on this team is going to be able to soak up Jhin damage at this point? Maybe you have that, you know, Xin Zhao ultimate that can deflect some of those projectiles, but, you know, unfortunately that Garen fell behind, so even during then you saw just chunks of damage coming out from the crits, and it's not a fun time when Jhin traps are doing a quarter of your HP.
And I know for as much as I've criticized the Annie, didn't seem to have the most impact. I have to mention as well, right? The Annie pickup was actually quite interesting because although she didn't do that much damage, and she might not have had the most impact, at the end of the day, Annie always has that big stun no matter how far she falls behind. And yeah, of course, our MVP for the day.
Yeah. Hard to argue on this one when it comes to match 9 of the day. Of course, it's going to be Frozen Kiss there. On the 13-08 Jhin, pretty hard to argue with this one from production, so I'm going to agree across the board here as, again, helping the team find their first win of the day. And like we mentioned, unfortunately there for Team Phoenix, it is going to be a winless day. We'll see whether or not they can change around their fortunes